That sentiment shared by Colion Noir. He's a host for the National Rifle Association News, NRA News, and he also had a message for the parents of Allison Parker.
But these supposed common sense gun control measures are nothing more than political Febreze used to mask overwhelming stench of violence in this country. Should we be trying to do something about the violence in this country? Absolutely. And guns should be a part of that conversation, along with knives and any other weapon. However, they shouldn't be the only focus or the majority of the focus. So do me a favor. Take all of those useless gun control laws, type them up in a little neat email, then delete them because they don't work. And to the parents of Allison Parker and Adam Ward, I have no right to tell any parent how to grieve for the loss of their child. Grief-inspired advocacy can be extremely effective and powerful, and I say run full speed to find a way to end violence like this. However, sometimes in a fight we can become so emotional, everyone and things starts looking like the enemy, even if they're there to help us. I'm deeply sorry for your loss.
Join me now to talk about this, Andy Parker, the father of Allison Parker. Welcome, and thank you for being with me this morning, Andy.
Thanks, Carol. I had planned to sort of ratchet down any media interviews that I was had been doing nonstop, but you know, I had to do this one for you because Allison made her national debut with you a year ago.
She did, and she was lovely. And actually, we have that on hand, so I want to show our viewers. This is Allison Parker from WDBJ in Roanoke. So it's pretty.
It is. It's such a beautiful sight. And what you're seeing right now started out as heavy rain very early this morning, but clearly a different picture. That snow is just coming down. Carol?
All right, everyone be careful, please. Allison Parker, thank you so much. Allison Parker from WDBJ in Roanoke. She was a bright, warm spot on a very cold day, so we appreciated her being with us.
She was, and I remember she was so excited because she texted me. She said, "Dad, I'm going to be on CNN in 10 minutes." And she said, "I'm a nervous wreck." And I said, "Sweetie, you know, it's the same thing you do every day. It's just that, you know, instead of several thousands of people that are watching, there are going to be several millions." But she handled it just like she handled everything else in her life. I mean, everything she did and touched, I mean, she was the consummate pro and the consummate professional.
She was a wonderful young woman, and you're right to be very proud. I want to ask you about what this NRA host said. Did you hear that? We played that right before I introduced you.
I did, and I'd heard that, and you know, to suggest that we shouldn't be emotional is insulting and disingenuous. I think that the vast majority of NRA members are with us. I mean, that really, you know, the knee-jerk reaction from the leadership is any reasonable or common sense approach to gun legislation or you know, gun safety, you know, getting guns out of the hands of people that shouldn't have them is met with this knee-jerk reaction of, well, you're going to take away our guns. You know, guns don't cause the problem. It's mental health. It's a mental issue. And, you know, they're right. They're absolutely right. You know, it is a mental health issue, but it's also a gun issue. And they're linked together, and somehow, and we're working on that, we have to be able to do something to keep these guns out of the hands of people that shouldn't be obtaining them. And that's closing gun show loopholes. There was legislation in California that was passed, the gun violence restraining order, that was a similar measure was put up for a vote here in Virginia, and it was defeated. And I heard the comments of Jeb Bush earlier that rural areas are different than urban areas, and I think that's just completely, I mean, that's ridiculous. That was a ridiculous comment. You know, so, you know, I want the nation to know, you know, I'm not trying to take away anybody's guns. I'm for the Second Amendment, but we have to do something to prevent these shootings from happening by crazy people.
Well, what kind of reaction are you getting from the public? Because you've been talking very tough about this issue.
It's overwhelming, and you hear some of the fringe groups, and I don't really pay any attention to that. I mean, it's some people think seriously, it's say, well, it's a hoax, and he's an actor that's fake tears and all of that, and I mean, it's just nonsense. But
people actually said that to you, Andy?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Believe it, not to me, but I've seen it kind of floating around in the blogosphere, and I've not watched any television. It hasn't been on since for a week, right. So I've seen no coverage. I certainly don't watch anything that I've done, but I can tell you that the outpouring of affection and the response has been it's been visceral, not just in this country but all over the world, and the interviews that I've done internationally, they just don't get it, because we don't have the market cornered on people that have mental illness, but we do have the market cornered on people with mental illness that have access to weapons, and that's the thing we've got to stop. And again, that's what I don't think the leadership of the NRA understands, but I think their membership does, and we want to work with those people, with the reasonable people, to do something about this.
Well, Andy, continue on, because you're fighting the good fight. Andy Parker, thank you so much for being with me this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Carol. I appreciate the opportunity.
The next hour is CNN Newsroom after a break.
At Voya, we can help you organize your savings and investments, so when you retire, you'll have orange money set aside for all the things you want, like traveling, volunteering, or simply spoiling your grandkids.